I went to sleep anxious. I woke up anxious. Same as yesterday. And I'm just like, I'm so fucking tired. I'm tired. I'm so fucking tired of the instability and constantly having to figure shit out on my own and coming to the realization that I don't have adequate supports and resources. But then there are people in my life who seem annoyed, agitated with the fact that I am having such a hard time, that I have been having such a hard time in my life, just like maintaining stability. And it's almost as if they, like, the thought process is, oh well, she don't want to do better. She's not trying to improve her situation. And neither of those things are true. You know what I mean? And that's where my exhaustion just doubles over, because if you are taking into consideration the fact that my trauma is so extensive, and I didn't have the luxury of entering into into therapy, and getting the coping skills and the tools and support to process the things that I've been through that have created these negative narratives in my mind, and just completely obliterated my self-esteem, my sense of self, before I ever even had an inclination that my self-esteem was my responsibility. So it's like, oh, I'm learning after my self-esteem has already been damaged. I'm learning after my sense of self has already been blown to smithereens, that self-love is actually my responsibility. So I'm having to build something up brick by brick from scratch late in life. Some might call that a late bloomer. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, in order for me, what I believe now is that in order for me to make larger scale strides in my healing journey, I need to be absent from people and places that have unrealistic expectations of me. I've spent a lot of my life trying to get people around me to understand my plight, and either they can't understand it, or they're choosing not to understand it because they just can't wrap their head around it. For some people, it's as simple as, oh, just make another choice. Just choose to do something else, right? For some people, it is just that simple. And I have tried to help others to understand that for some of us whose trauma experience is a lot more intense and extensive, it's not as simple as, oh, just make another choice. Because while you may know intellectually, that something is wrong, or it's not helpful, or it's just simply not true, when you've had 20 years, 15 years of people like beating it into your head that you're nothing and you're not to be believed, you're a liar, you're a thief, you don't want much for yourself out of life, and that's why things look the way they look. How the fuck do I have a cut on my finger right now? Like, I don't even know. Like, what else is gonna happen? Like, I'm like, why is my finger feel so raw right here? Because I have a deep cut in my left index finger, and I don't even know how the fuck I did that. Surprise, more surprises. Like, my life is just full of surprises. And surprise, it's just another inconvenience. So, that just doubles over my exhaustion. The energy that I feel I'm constantly expelling or have expelled over the years, trying to get people around me who are side-eyeing me and judging me and creating their own narratives about me and why my life looks the way it looks, without any understanding or empathy for the fact that I have limited capacity. And I didn't always know what that meant, but now I do. I recognize now that my executive functioning is not up to par. It's just not. I start things and then I stop them. I get an idea about a project and maybe I'll jot some of it down and then I'll never go back to it again because sitting with it feels like work. And I've been working very hard my entire life to just stay alive, to not follow those thoughts that say, death must be easier because your life has just been so hard this whole time. It's just been so fucking hard this entire time. And that's not to say that, there haven't been moments, that were pleasant, because they were. But when I reflect over my life, the inconveniences, the strife, the struggling far outweighs any of the good that has come my way in my life. The good is always like a blip on the radar, and then the inconveniences, the struggles, the insufficiencies, the hardship, it's just like nuclear bombs going off every fucking time, right? And then working hard, to now that I'm in therapy, started therapy in my mid-30s. Now I'm in therapy and I'm learning that I still have things to unpack and process that have just been sitting with me and weighing on me all this time. And I guess there's just no way to get people to really understand how massively burdensome it is to walk around with 20 plus years of unprocessed trauma. Like, you don't get it, bro. Like, this is me doing the best that I can with what I have. I tried to do the go to school and go to work thing. I don't have the capacity for that. I don't have the capacity to go to a work that is to go to a job where the work is triggering and stressful because it is a mental health environment, and then turn around and go to school, study, take exams, write papers, and then carve out time to attend therapy, meet with your therapist, do your therapy work outside of the session because you need time for that, meet with your psychiatrist, tune in and tap in with yourself, pay attention to how you're feeling, what you're feeling, learning new triggers that you didn't realize you have, or naming the triggers that you've had all along but just didn't have enough information, enough knowledge of what was actually going on with me to even name it at that time. So it's like, you don't really understand what the fuck I'm going through. It may work for you to just sweep all your personal issues or baggage or whatever under the rug and just go into tunnel vision and just work. Just work all the jobs because you need money. And you're right. We all need money to live. Ain't none of this shit free. Okay? None of this shit's free. So that concept is not lost on me. I know I need to earn a living to stay afloat. I understand that. I know that it would probably most likely be better for me to, have some type of license or certification in some skill or trade so that I could make more money than I'm making right now and therefore have a more stable life. But what I'm saying to you is I don't have the capacity to juggle work and school and therapy. I just don't have it. I tried and I did 2 semesters and I was burnt the fuck out. Working and going to school and doing therapy. Like something is not going to get 100% of me. Like I don't have it to spread myself in so many directions when I've been spreading myself in so many directions since I got here. Like, my therapist said something interesting to me in our last session about privilege. And, because I was expressing to her that I've been feeling a certain level of guilt about putting boundaries between myself and a lot of my family members because I don't feel loved and supported by them. And I'm just tired of trying to get them to understand my experience. So I give up. I give up talking to people who can't or won't try to understand my experience. Right? And she said that some people don't understand the luxury that they have of growing up in an environment or existing in the present within a community of family, friends, etc., that uplift them and support them and are there for them in ways that I haven't experienced. She's like, some people don't realize that that's a luxury to some people. Like, it is a luxury that you grew up with the support and care and guidance of both of your parents. I didn't grow up with my parents. I don't know what it's like to have mom and dad growing up. Like, I get it. I understand that it just depends on your specific circumstances. Everybody doesn't grow up in a 2-parent household, but some people grow up with one parent and there's still a lot of community and village rallying around to help you get that well adjusted, well supported, well cared for experience, right? But when you did not have that, and it is difficult for you to then, navigate your adulthood because now you don't trust people because all you know is this world where there's a lot of people around you who say family and we love each other and I support you and if you need anything let me know. But then when it's time for you to let someone know, hey, I could really use your support with this, it's an issue. There's a problem. It's not like it's never something that can be healthily communicated through where it's like, okay, I can't do X, but I can do Y. Does Y help you? You know what I'm saying? It's just like, like you're inconveniencing them by saying, I need your support right now. And that's been my experience. And because of that, it has made it extremely difficult for me to ask for what I need from people, even when they say on the front end, if you need anything, I'm here, just let me know. Because I've heard that a lot in my life. And then again, when it was time for me to ask for their help and support, I like what I got back didn't feel warm and fuzzy. Like, I got you. Don't worry about it. Whatever I can do to help, I got you. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. So forgive me and my PTSD for being terrified to ask for what I need, because I've been hurt by people. I've been rejected by people who told me on the front end, if you need anything, let me know. And then I let them know. And now my anxiety is through the roof because, wow, I thought I could be vulnerable and ask for what I need. And now I'm realizing that's not a good idea. Shouldn't have done that. I don't like the way this feels. This doesn't feel supportive. This doesn't feel non-judgmental. This doesn't feel compassionate. This doesn't feel empathetic. I should have just kept my mouth shut. You know? So when you experience that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, you get to a point where you're a lot slower to ask for what you need, because there's just no guarantee that the person who initially extended themselves to you really meant what they said. So there's just a lot to unpack. And I feel like what people don't share out loud in the open and, in public spaces where we're talking about mental health and mental and emotional well-being, people don't talk about, at least I haven't seen it shared, people don't talk about how messy and uncomfortable healing work actually is. You know what I'm saying? It's not all, skipping through the grass and, flowers and sweet music and all this. Like, yeah, that's a part of it, but really doing the work, it hurts. There are parts of the work that hurt. There are parts of the work that require you to apply these new skills to your relationships, to the way you care for yourself, even just acknowledging, oh, I need to take better care of myself. And that doesn't mean more manicures and pedicures or massages. Those things are nice in addition to, but self-care is in, speaking up for yourself. Self-care is removing yourself from conversations that are not productive. Self-care is enforcing your boundaries regardless of who likes it or not, regardless of who understands it or not, because it's not about them. It's about what's in my best interest. It's about recognizing, oh, these are distractions. These people, these places, you are distracting me from what I actually am working really, really hard at trying to accomplish, which at bare minimum is emotional regulation. I am in a state of emotional dysregulation more often than I am not, and that then makes it complicated for me to navigate challenges when they come my way. And I'm not getting no days off on challenges in my life, right? So pardon me if I'm just really fucking exhausted, and some days, most days, I wake up and I just want somebody else to do it. I just want somebody else to do it. I'm fucking exhausted. I'm exhausted of doing everything on my own. I'm exhausted of staying in relationship with people that I don't feel loved or cared for by. I'm tired. I'm tired. And I know I have so much personal work to do on myself, because doing the right thing for myself still generates a certain level of guilt inside of me. Like, oh, I'm doing something wrong to them, or they're not going to like that. Who gives a fuck? Like, it's becoming, it has been a challenge at different periods And it is a challenge, depending on the scenario, for me to just say, who gives a fuck, and do what's best for me. Healing out loud is acknowledging the messy part, the uncomfortable part. Because for me, a lot of this shit is messy and uncomfortable and exhausting. And there's nobody I can talk to about that other than my therapist and psychiatrist, because people in my life, they hear me selectively. A lot of them just don't hear me at all. And so it's just more of the same, bro. Just not being heard, not being understood, not being adequately supported, getting responses from people whose job it is to, it's like, oh, well, God put you with this family, you take care of one another, you do what you can for one another. But I just don't get those vibes on either side of my family. And I'm just like, I'm over it, bro. I'm fucking over it. Like, some days I do want to fucking off myself, because I'm tired. I don't want to do this shit no more. Not like this.